Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi Lilkatz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page where we do the morning live stream for the card draw of the day. Yeah. So it is Thursday, August 23rd. August 23rd. Can you believe it? I can't. This month is going by really, really fast. You know, I was thinking yesterday that, yesterday afternoon, I think it was, that we only have a month before our next class, which is the magic of Hogwarts with Minnie Kansman and I. And so we've already started doing all the preparations kind of stuff, you know, the class registrations and that sort of thing. But now I'm going to be turning my attention toward getting the pieces that we're going to be doing and parts of that class. I'm going to be getting the material ready for your individual medicine pouches, and going to get watercolor paint for the tile, making your own divination tile. And so we're kind of turning our attention, you know, toward those aspects of the class. And gosh, I can't wait. It's going to be a fun class. It really is. So, hey, Rochelle, good morning to you. So glad you're here. And Stephanie, thank you for joining. And Elise is here too. And good morning. Good morning to you, ladies. And good morning to Mary Ann if she's watching. I appreciate you guys being with me this morning. It's another beautiful day. You know, it was cold. Yesterday, I think it was 48. Today was 47 when I got up this morning around 6. And we're supposed to have a high, I think, of 73, which isn't bad. It's kind of nice. Cool mornings, though. You know, kind of reminds me of fall. Although it's only August. We're not talking about fall yet. We're going to stay in the present moment, right? That's right. So this morning, you know, I came up to the Academy. This is where I broadcast the live streams for this one, and also for the shows that I do. And the live stream shows. And I pull in, and right behind me pulls in one of the construction guys for the renovation that we're doing. We're putting the bathroom in, and they also drywalled the, you might call it the garage space. It's really storage, and it's going to be a place where we can do kind of classes that that we don't care what happens to the floor, you know. Because it's just, we didn't redo the floor, it's just concrete. And so anyway, one of the construction guys is here. They are finishing up the electrical piece. They're putting switch plates on, and you know, doing all kinds of good stuff, just finishing up the electrical piece. So they're quiet. They're going to be hanging doors, I think, this afternoon or tomorrow, and putting trim work up. So they're very close to being done. Very close. Yes, Rochelle, very close. She says, is your bathroom nearly done? Yes, it very close. If I had time between now and tomorrow, I could paint the bathroom, but I don't. One, I haven't even picked out a color, so it's not like I can even send Paul to the hardware store to get the paint. Yeah, it's going to be an easy painting job. It would have been even easier if I could get in there and paint before they put the trim up, but I really don't think I'm going to have the time. I'm trying to finish up my own article for the magazine for the September issue, Star Nations magazine, and also the update that I do for the magazine article. And there's a couple other things that I have to write for the magazine. And I'm working on finishing up the contract for the next book that's going to be published for Madonna. It's all about whales and dolphins. And that's coming out next year in 2019. And so, but I have to get the contract done. So I'm working on that too. So painting is going to have to be maybe this weekend if I can get to it. Yeah, it'll get done before the class, though, for sure. Hey, Connie's here. Good morning, Connie. Connie is one of our live stream show hosts, the Spiritual Mysteries of Life, which is going to be next week, Thursday. in the morning, 10:30 Eastern. And Connie always has such good stuff for us, right? With her show. So Connie's here. Rochelle's saying good morning to Connie, and yay! Rochelle is going yay for the bathroom. Yeah, it's going to be nice to have the bathroom up here for classes, and yeah, it's good stuff. And we got the air conditioner vented permanently, and so we could move the unit closer to where the mechanical stuff is. So everything's kind of falling together. It's exciting. I know. I like it. Once we're done with it, I will do another live stream and show you guys what's going on, what the finished product looks like, right? Yeah. Hey, Amy Daniels just joined. Good morning, Amy. Amy, I enjoy when I see you in the chat because I know that you have really early morning shift, and then coming home and listening to the show as you're heading home on the bus route, right? So Rochelle is saying no for the whales and dolphins. Really? It's a book. It's a good book. It's a children's book. It's a book that is meant for children, and the intent, the text is really about how they were actually here before humans, and how they're cosmically connected. And yeah, it's a fascinating book. And Christine Pollock is doing the artwork for the book, and she's already started some of those. I don't know how many she has done. I've only seen one finished one piece, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and I think that one may actually end up being the cover. I hope. It's gorgeous. So I'm not sure what you mean about no to whales and dolphins, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good. Good morning, Amy. And yeah. Oh, I see. Love whales and dolphins. Yeah, it's that spelling thing with phones and stuff. Sometimes those keys get kind of small, don't they? So today's card draw is really fascinating because how they're going to go together and show us about today's energy flow. It's very interesting. And here's the first card that we got. And look at the artwork on this one. It's called Invoking the Infinite. Invoking the Infinite. It's about healing and renewal. And the sign of infinity, right? And I think most of us are pretty familiar with that symbol, that sign of infinity. It's the balance of giving and receiving. When it's in the vertical form, of course, it looks like a number 8, doesn't it? And Francine says that the figure 8 was received as a healing symbol, and research into its healing effects is still ongoing. And that's true. Still true today. Because these cards were published in 2001, and so there is continued research into the symbol 8. Yeah. Amy is saying, "Oh, cool! I missed info about that. Looking forward to the book." I know, me too. Yeah, we're just. It's my part, my piece that everybody's waiting on. So I really have to get that piece done and get the contract out, and so we can say we're officially doing this. All right. So this is what Francine has to say about what she calls invoking the infinite. Invoking the infinite. Okay, this is what she says. Lying on its side, the figure becomes a symbol of infinity, which is beyond measure. Beyond measure. There is also a Mobius strip, the universal sign of recycling, which represents single-sided non-duality. And then we also have the star tetrahedron in here as well, an individual tetrahedron. So I don't know if you can see the star tetrahedron around the person. Okay, and then you have smaller tetrahedrons there and over here. And so you remember the tetrahedron is about fire, right? Energy represents the element of fire. And the star tetrahedron is our ascension vehicle. The star tetrahedron, also known as the Merkaba. So Francine says, we have pulled this card today because you are actively involved in a healing process. Actively involved in a healing process. Now, when I read that, I thought, yep, that's us. That's Star Nation's community, because, as show hosts, as teachers, and we have many healers and light workers in our community, right? And so we're very consciously aware of how our healing of all of our bodies, and especially the emotional and the mental body, helps us with our soul growth, right? And so I was thinking, this is really about the balance of giving and receiving. We have many, many healers here at Star Nation's community who assist their community members with healing. And they themselves are healing. So we have the balance of giving and receiving of healing within Star Nations. And I think that we're all consciously aware of the importance of our individual healing, which I think is great. Where else can you get something like that? The support, right? The support, the love, and also referrals back and forth. Who's good at what? What's their strength? Is that their gift? Great, then I'm going to go see them, right? And so we help each other. Hey, Margaret's here. Welcome, Margaret. So good to see you in the chat. Polly Joe just joined. Hello, Polly Joe. Or what does Rob say to you? What do you know, Polly Joe? That always makes me smile whenever I see that. Yeah, that Rob Kendall has got a wicked sense of humor. Makes me laugh every single time. And Polly Joe, such a nice reminder. Thank you. Is to share, is to like and share the broadcast. I'd appreciate it. We're still looking at how, because, with this particular broadcast, I don't use Be Live TV, who are our partners, for the really cool way that we can offer our live stream shows through Star Nation's radio network, right? And what I'm looking at is the difference between sharing here in what Facebook calls a native live stream, and what sharing is like when we share through the third-party app. And so it's all good, because we're sharing good information, spiritual information that maybe somebody's looking for and they haven't quite found it yet. They've been searching, right? Yeah. So I'd appreciate it if you did share. In fact, I should probably get my phone out and do the same thing. Share it to my timeline. And now, if you hear any noise in the background, that is the construction guy, Matt. He is finishing up some of the electrical work in the renovation area, in the new bathroom. He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys. All right, so I am going to like and share to my timeline. And the planes are going over too. It's kind of noisy up here today. Okay. I'm live streaming. Please join me. There we go. And who's ever in the chat, if you could you please share to the Star Nation's Radio Network closed group for me? I'd appreciate that. And that way I'll finish up or get a better start on this one. So this was the first card that was drawn, Invoking the Infinite. And remember, in the way that Francine Hart has developed this card deck, is that we get two cards, right? And the first card goes on the right-hand side of the layout, and that is the mental mind that's bringing the information through the logic. It's thoughts, it's the masculine side, and also represents Grandfather Sky. Okay, and so the information coming from the first card is coming through the masculine energies. The second card, essence, comes through the female side of the energies, and that is our emotions and our feelings, our heart, Grandmother Earth. And so it's a balance, and that's how Francine Hart has designed these, and I think it's brilliant because we get the information coming through our bodies, not just one body, but all of our bodies in a balanced, holistic way. And so this first card sits on the right-hand side. And so we're bringing in the information through the masculine energies, that part of us, okay? And look, there's so much to look at in this card, isn't there? The number of hands receiving, healing hands that are giving. And notice that at the very top of near the head of the person there is the apex of the Merkaba, and it's brilliantly glowing, and receiving that universal energy down through the crown. That's pretty cool, right? And if you notice the hands below, right down here, that universal energy, creator energy flowing out of the hands. How cool is that? There's so much to look at in that image. All right, so this is what Francine continues to say. So she says that by pulling the card, it's showing that we're actively involved in a healing process. She says it's often emotional healing that must take place to heal a physical wound. Yeah, because as the imbalance, right, is sensed, what's going on comes out from our spiritual body, right, our emotional body, our mental body, and by the time it hits and we feel it in our physical body, it's been around for a while because it's been sitting out here working its way in, and shifting our physicalness, right? And so that's where we feel the pain. That's where we feel our aches and that kind of thing. And so what she's saying is that when we heal the emotional body, that it affects the mental body and shifts and heal that, and then it will feel it in our physical body. And I can tell you what, is as soon as we start healing the emotional body, it doesn't take all that long for us to feel the shift in our physical body. The healing process takes less time, I think. That's just my 2 cents. Takes much less time than how much time it took for it to actually reach our physical body, the imbalance, right? So the healing process, I feel, takes less time to start taking effect. And she also says, a wounded spirit is most comfortable in a failing body. Your healing capabilities will be catalyzed by your ability to connect with heart energy and to act with compassion. So the catalyzed is that action, right? It's the fuel, it's the fire that moves the energy. And when we're in love, when we feel love and compassion for ourselves as we're healing, it's going to be much more effective. Especially when we are the healer and we are in love and compassionate about the person that we're assisting, the soul that we're assisting, our gifts, our healing gifts are accentuated. They have a much bigger power. And that's because it's coming, the divine energy is coming through us, right? Through our heart and through that compassion. Yeah. Hey, Reb Candle's here. Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing. I appreciate it. Connie shared too. Thank you so much. And Lisa shared to my timeline. Yay. Yay. It looks like Polly Joe shared possibly to the network closed group. And Margaret did too. Thank you for sharing, ladies. I appreciate it. And Judy saying that is so true. Yeah. When we're in our hearts, when we love the person that we are assisting with their healing, and we have compassion for them, that just brings our gifts even fuller when they're received. And we're actually, how do I want to put this? We are a cleaner, how's that, conduit for divine energy. In other words, our ego steps to the side so we have a direct flow, right? Yeah. Direct flow of that divine energy working through us. Yeah. Hey, Aaron. Aaron just joined us. Amplified. Thank you, Polly Joe. Much better word. Amplified. And Madonna's here. Good. Madonna, I was just talking about the book. Kind of letting people know that I've been working on it, and hopefully I'll be finishing up my portion with that contract soon. So, yeah. Madonna is soon to be a published author. We're looking at 2019. Yay. It's exciting stuff. All right. So we're working through her heart. She says, accept the call to heal and renew yourself first. Then offer this gift to those who will seek your assistance. So, when we do our own healing, work on our own stuff, we're shifting the energy for our ancestors. We're healing them, and we're also healing for our descendants, so they don't have to go through whatever that is that we're healing, right? And so when we're able to do that, we've experienced something. And in that experience, when we go to assist another with their healing, we have both empathy and sympathy, because we have the ability to say the truth about our own experience, that when somebody is going through something similar, we understand. And even our compassion even gets deeper at that point, because we know from our own experience what they could be going through, something very similar, right? Madonna, cool beans. Woohoo. That's right. That's right. So this is the card that was drawn this morning. This is the first one. Invoking the Infinite. The sign of infinity. The balance of giving and receiving. Right? I like this card. There's so much to look at in it. And so the balance of giving and receiving. And really, Francine is encouraging us to continue our own healing. And so that we have the capacity for soul growth and for even more love and compassion. So that was the first card. The second card that we got is about our DNA. It's about the DNA, and she calls it conscious evolution. Conscious evolution. We also have the spiral in there in the background. The DNA. The DNA is actually very small, right? We need equipment to be able to actually see the DNA. We need all kinds of scopes and all kinds of magnetism to be able to see the DNA. And they're so small, and yet they carry so much information. So much information. Now, if you believe time is spherical, in other words, everything is happening right now, all three, past, present, and future. Everything is happening right now. And that our soul may be experiencing other things in parallel universes, right? Dimensions. That when you think about the DNA that we're carrying, and we talk about it's in our blood and in our bones because it comes through the DNA, right? So it carries our history as a soul. As a soul, it is also taking down, noting our experience here in the present, but it can also tell us about the future. It can tell us about the future, what our tendencies are toward. And it's so little. It's so little, microscopic almost, right? Yeah. The helix of the DNA. And let's see, if you turn it sideways, you can see the sign of infinity in it. Right? If you turn it sideways. Like that. All right. Right. So Francine writes that the human DNA uses the phi ratio to form the wave that spins our genetic codes. And we know that the phi ratio is a divine proportion, right? It's the golden mean. It's the Fibonacci. It's both of them. And it's in divine proportion. And she says that within the double helix of our DNA, the human energy field, we each have access to hidden store of knowledge and wisdom called the force or holy light. The force or holy light. And this is the stuff that I was just talking about, is that it is the receptacle of all of the information about our soul. And in the present, it's also about our physical body, right? I think it's like way cool. I like that. What she calls is the hidden store of knowledge and wisdom called the force or the holy light. She says, unlocking this information. Oh my gosh. Most people know that I'm live streaming right now. Some of them don't, obviously. That was a telephone call from a client. All right. So she says that is that we have unlocking this information is a primary study of many individuals today who feel that the human potential and the ability to heal ourselves and the planet are encoded in the spiral matrix, the matrix. So we know that we have 2 strands of the DNA, right? And that we have 64 codons in that DNA. We have, we only look at 2 of the strands. We have actually a total of 12 strands. And the other 10 strands, science has always said that they were just junk because they didn't know what they were for. Since they didn't know what it was for, they couldn't see it. They couldn't tell what it was for. They called it junk. Well, we now know it is not junk. Of course, there are a lot of us that already innately knew that the other 12 strands were very important to our soul growth, right? And it was, we'll say, predicted decades ago that children born were going to be, science was going to see that they'll have more of the strands, more codons available to them through their physical body. And so that's the piece that we're waiting on. Now, I haven't heard of any children yet. Has anybody heard about that? They say that we're actually going to be able to know that there are two-legged children coming in to their physical existence with more than two strands of their DNA physically available, which means that they have more codons, right? Because right now we have 64. And as we have our soul growth and we vibrate closer to our original vibration or our frequency, meaning we've done healing work, is that the codons are going to be more available to us through our spiritual body first, and then eventually work down into our physical body. The knowledge of it, right? The information that it's bringing through. In other words, it's going to reach our mental mind, our brain, the information. And that we're going to have more and more available to us of the strands, not in a physical sense, because that would be like, going from 110 to 220, by blinking of an eye, and our physical bodies won't be able to take the power surge. But we can access it through our spiritual body and have the ability to bring in more complete information of that light language coming through. And so it's almost like we are finer tuned. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Rochelle, the force be with you. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think Aaron's going LOL. I think that was over the telephone call. I should, what I want to know, I wonder why it wasn't my ringtone. What happened to my ringtone? That's a question I'm going to have to answer when we're done with this, because my ringtone is actually, if you guys are familiar with, and it's an old movie, now it's kind of a cult classic, is Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. Elle Driver, one of the characters, she has this whistle that she does in the hospital. And that's my ringtone. But it didn't go. It was a different ringtone. So I'm going to have to look at that. She says that we're in the process of activating codes that will aid in the shift from third to fourth dimension reality, which is the course of evolution that's taking. We're turning on 10 additional strands of DNA, which, including the present 2, will afford us what seems at this point unlimited possibilities. So I have to tell you that I did this work with the 12-strand DNA activation. It was before we moved up here. So we moved up here in 2006. And I think I did that work in 2004 and 2005. I started teaching it in 2005. So it must have been 2003 and 2004 that I was doing the work. Yeah, and it was all about soul clearing and accessing the Akashic records to, it was kind of like the major clutter clearing in the Akashic records, and looking at the 12-strand DNA. And I know doing the work for the 12-strand DNA is doing a lot of clearing, a lot of healing, so that when you are energetically, spiritually, taking those other 12 strands and plugging them into your energetic body. Yeah, that was a long time ago. So remember, Francine, published this in 2001. I bought this deck in 2002. So I was just on the cusp of learning about the 12-strand DNA work at that point, and looking at the sacred geometry of it and the healing of it. And so there has been much more work research and study along these lines. And I have to say that probably because there were so many of us working on it at that time, that we probably reached that tipping point, where the information became much more available to many, many more people, and those people making the decision to do the healing work for it. Yeah. Judy is saying, that is funny, your ringtone. I have to say, the only time I've heard crickets right outside my door, only twice this year, is while listening to you. Really? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Crickets. All right, Stephanie, are you still in the chat? Could you look up cricket for us for totem or power animal? I think I used to know off the top of my head about cricket. I know that in some cultures, cricket is like a good luck. They put it on their hearth for good luck, and I think that is Celtic or Old Irish, if I remember right. Yeah. So let's finish up what Francine says about the DNA. She says the emotions of love and compassion influence the harmonics of the heart and speed these changes to our DNA. Each time you act from your heart rather than fear, you contribute to the evolution of humankind and the healing of Grandmother Earth. She says, love is the answer, right? Yeah. And so taking that information from the first card, which was Invoking the Infinite, and that was from the male side, right? Taking in the information about that. And from the female side, taking the information in about the DNA and the accessing the codons. Both cards talk about the emotions of love and compassion and about healing, right? So I feel that the information about the energy for today is looking at our own healing work and how much we come from our heart space, whether we're receiving healing or whether we're giving healing, and that it's done in a balanced way, so that if you're a healer, you're also healing. You're doing your own healing at the same time, right? And so I think that's what the message is today, is that our healing affects more than just us. It affects the entire universe, and it affects definitely Grandmother Earth. And with so many people focused on their healing and coming from their hearts with a boatload of compassion, right? That with all of us put together, much like the 12 strands of DNA that were called junk at first by science, is that we're like that 12-strand DNA. We're bringing in more energy to the world, to others. Yeah. Yep. And that's energy that you can't really see, but you can certainly feel. And the sign of infinity, that's about balance. It's about the balance of giving and receiving, and it goes on forever, forever. Erin says, yes, heart power, absolutely, heart power. Yeah, to be in our hearts. And there's a saying in Indian country, Native America, Turtle Island, is to have a good heart, and also to do it in a good way means that you're coming from your heart, and that our mental mind self, where our ego resides, is balanced between our head and our heart. Yeah. And when we're healing, when we use our gifts as healers, that are that part of us, the ego, steps to the side, right? Steps to the side. And when our heart and our soul is in the lead, that ego stepping to the side is so much easier, so much graceful. When it's out of balance, and our ego is out of balance, it's much harder for the ego to step aside. In fact, it rarely does. It rarely does. And so, I don't know. For those who are in the chat, and we've all received healing of one kind or another. And I'm looking at the names in the chat. There are several healers in the chat as well. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that information? Because we affect so many by just doing our own healing. You know, the part I love about the healing, of course, I feel so much better. That's the the intention of the whole thing, right? But really, the more emotional part of it is that I'm healing. I've been instrumental in the healing of my ancestors. You know, they survived so much just for me to be here. And if I can give back just a little bit in gratitude, right, and appreciation, by doing my own healing, and if I can help affect their soul growth, yeah, that makes me feel good. It does. You know, and right now I have in my mind a picture, an image of my grandparents. Yeah, kind of gets me choked up. My grandparents on both sides. Now, I didn't know my dad's parents, but I knew my mom's parents, and so to be helpful in that way, but also helpful in the descendants, right? So it makes me feel good that my nieces and nephews and the great nieces and nephews and their children's children, 7 generations forward, right? That it's a gift to them, that they don't have to go through certain things that in that cycle, had to break that cycle, had to be a disruptor of a cycle. And so that makes me feel good. But in the present moment, and doing and feeling the healing work that I've done for myself and continue to do, because I'm not done, it brings a more joyful life, a more balanced life. Not to say that I don't, I have to be mindful of balance between work and home and fun, those kinds of things. That we're all doing that. Polly Joe is saying forgiveness is the next chakra sessions. Yay! Next Tuesday, Polly Joe is going to be covering forgiveness. Yes. Hey, Polly Joe, well, it's on my mind. If you could find, and I think you've already done this before, but if you could do another round of through chakra sessions about anxiety. I've had a couple people ask me in the last 2 days about healing anxiety. And so, my crown chakra. So if you could fit that in at some point, I think there'd be at least a few people very appreciative to do another round of it. So, and Mary, thank you, Mary. Cricket symbolism. Everyone can be great. All you require is a soul that is generated by love and the heart to express it loud and clear. Yay. Oh, I like that. Thank you, Mary. And she goes on to say, like the ladybug and the dragonfly, cricket symbolism is a sign of exceptional luck. Furthermore, it means that all of the things that you have been working toward and dreaming about are now possible. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you, Mary. Mary, if you could do us a favor and if you could put the resource in there, it's very helpful, especially when we're looking for resources that are pretty good in their information to help us discern, right? That would be appreciated if you could do that. And Judy is saying, I know, right, Mary Summers? And the funniest thing is they stopped after your ringtone. That's funny. Now maybe I should get crickets for a ringtone. And Polly Jones saying, yeah, she'll do the anxiety healing show the following week. Yay! Thank you so much, Polly Jo. I think that's going to be very helpful to a lot of people. And Margaret is saying balance is a form of self-healing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely is. And can't you feel when you're not in balance, right? That is one of the things that we need to notice and to become familiar with, is what it's like to feel when you are balanced and when you're out of balance. What does that feel like for you? Because it's different for everybody, right? You know what mine is? I drop things. That's an early warning sign that I'm not fully in my body and that there's something going on. And so I drop things. I spill glasses of liquid water, tea. I'm not quite here, really, and so and so that's an early warning sign for me. So I have to take a look at that. Yep, and I know what it feels like when I am in balance, and how good that feels, right? When you're fully present, yeah, and you're feeling. My self-confidence is much higher, and so I know what it feels like for me to be in balance. Yeah, and I also know what it feels like when I'm not, and what tools I can use to bring myself back into balance, to be grounded to Grandmother Earth, to drink some water so I can feel her grandmother flowing through me. To do a short meditation to bring me back into balance, or closer to balance anyway. So, for today information, if it resonated with you, yay, grab onto it, hold it, embrace it, watch how the energy flows to you today and how it unfolds. Notice if you are a direct participant in an event where the information from today you can sense, feel, or see, right? If you're a bearing witness, you're watching someone else have go through their dance with this energy for today. Both you learn something from. One, you're directly active in it, and the other one you're on the sidelines, but still you're watching and taking it all in, right? Yeah, just notice. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay too. You can just let it lie. Or maybe possibly you're the messenger, right? You heard it, and so you think, oh, so-and-so would probably really like this. Then just share the link with them and let them hear it for themselves and discern for themselves if it's something that resonates with them. Yeah. And enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of Thursday. It's a beautiful day here, and I'm, still sending prayers out to those in southern Wisconsin who are feeling the effects of the flooding that was happening down there. 10 inches of rain. It's like, wow, that's a lot. And also to those that are in Hawaii experiencing Hurricane Lane. Prayers for you guys down there. Friends of friends who live there. You're in our prayers as well. And still out west, all of those wildfires that are happening. Prayers for all of them, all our relatives out there. Yep, all of them. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for tomorrow's card draw. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I said I was going to give away a magazine. So let me see. I'm looking. Well, first of all, Amy is saying, yes, mostly why I took today off from work. Yes, dropping stuff, French toast batter made with 20 eggs all over the floor. Oh my gosh. Just one of the things I dropped yesterday. Margaret, oh yes, I feel things are easier. Elise says, love and hugs to you all. Amy, very happy I caught this morning. Thanks, Neshi. You're welcome. Yep, and Hawaii as well. And Margaret saying thank you. We're gonna select and move upward. All right. I have to count. Oh no. All right. So, all right. So it looks like Judy Denville, Judy, I'm going to be sending you as a giveaway one of the print magazines for Star Nations magazine. Okay. So if you could please PM me your postal address, and I will send you out one of our past issues of Star Nations magazine. Yeah, because I got a whole bunch of them. I have like 62 issues that I thought, these would make really nice giveaways, nice presents. So Judy, if you could send me, private message me your postal address, and I will pick one out for you and send it to you, okay? So yay for Judy. She gets to have one of those print Star Nations magazines. All right. And thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay. Ba Mamina until we see each other again. Love you guys.